Back in 79 and 80, we spent a horrendous year of 1980. All those days and nights, every time you turn on the television, it would be America held hostage at 11:30 at night in the East Coast. It became a nightline, of course, later on. Cronkite would end his show with how many days the hostages have been held. They knew exactly what they're doing. They were decapitating Jimmy Carter. On election eve, as we sat on Air Force One, we had to tell him on the Cronkite Report that evening, the next day's election was not the number one news story. The number one news story, right at the top of the news budget, was the anniversary of the hostage taking. That was bigger news. Carter was screwed. They never sent the hostages back until after he'd been beaten by Reagan. And then when he had left office, they knew exactly what they're doing. They decapitated Carter. And I got to tell you, they're doing the same thing to Trump. They know exactly what the Strait of Hormuz is doing to the oil markets, to the markets generally. They know what we're up to because Trump is on television all the time. They see him. They know how he works and how to hurt him, and they're trying to decapitate him.
Okay, Chris Matthews, what's the difference? You answer at home. What's the difference between 1979 and 2026? Let me see. In one case, we watched as they took our hostages and asked for them back. Try to free them, crashed in the desert, sadly. So what's the difference now? We're actually blowing their doors off, killed 40 of their leaders. I think the number is up to 49 the next day, and some say as many as 80. We just took out the commander of their secret police force that was enforcing all those radical Islamic extremist beliefs. We blew up their entire Navy, destroyed their entire Air Force, broke up, took down their ballistic missile manufacturing. Do you see what's going on? Does he not see the difference? We're taking them apart. What they can do now is have a death rattle, do everything possible to try to get people to get us to stop, because we'll stop when we're done. And no longer is it 1979. We get almost all our oil from there. We get it anywhere. We get it from our own backyard now. And we're able to pump natural gas through Europe. So they're not as obligated as they used to be. But what you did is you alienated all your friends. It's no longer OPEC and Iran against the West and against America. We got all the Gulf states in our corner, got all of NATO in our corner, and have our best friend Israel fighting by our side. Besides that, Chris, it's exactly like 1979. Exactly. And Jimmy Carter had a few options to get tough, but he decided it would escalate things and chose not to. Leaders make their decisions. You could judge who's a great president and who's not, but they had an opportunity to do that. So that's all I ask. Understand that it's more sensational to say Iran has blown up a barge than to say America has had 5,000 attacks inside Iran, systematically taking down their infrastructure, knowing they don't want to do too much damage because they want Iran to live for a better day, while taking out their secret police, the IRGC, and their leadership. So, I mean, it's not let's just lay on our backs and let's be abused by Iran. And that's what's different about this. This president is doing something that Joe Biden wouldn't do, that Obama wouldn't even entertain. George Bush, we had our hands with Iraq. We thought that was a bigger threat, and arguably maybe it was. And H.W. Bush knew it was a problem. Iran-Contra, an attempt to work with moderate Iranians, has blew up in everybody's face, Reagan's as well as Bush's. So everyone's tried different ways. And this president finally says, gloves are off, let's finish him. And that's what we're doing. Please be a little bit patient. Understand it might be a little bit hard for a couple of weeks with gas prices. And also understand, too, the market's going to come roaring back because nothing fundamentally has changed, except for the Middle East will ultimately be safer.